Life never asks for permission to change. It just changes. One day you wake up and feel that something is different, even though everything around you seems the same. It might be the silence of someone who used to call you every day. It could be that laugh that was once easy and now requires effort, or even the feeling that you no longer belong to the same places. The seasons of life have this subtle way of reminding us that everything is in motion. What seems solid today can vanish tomorrow like sand through your fingers. And often, there isn't even anyone to blame. It wasn't someone who was wrong, nor something that went wrong. It was simply life being what it is, a river that never passes the same place twice. We learn from an early age to expect stability. We seek constancy in friends, in relationships, in jobs, in health, in routine. But the truth, however harsh it may be, is that the only certainty we have is uncertainty. Childhood friendships can cool with distance. Intense passion can turn into silence. The body that was strong can become ill. The secure routine can turn into chaos from one day to the next. And it is there, in this scenario of instability, that many feel the ground disappear beneath them. But it's not the end. It's the beginning of a deeper discovery. Not everything needs to remain the same, to have value. And at the same time, there is something, or rather someone, who remains even when everything else slips through our hands. There is a love that does not change direction when the road of life curves. There is a presence that does not leave, even when everyone else goes away. That presence is Jesus. And when everything seems to move, he is the fixed point, the anchor that holds, the foundation that sustains, the embrace that does not cool with time. Have you ever felt that everything around you was changing too fast? Have you ever wished that at least one thing would remain firm? Then this video is for you. There is a type of pain that is not screamed. It lives between the lines of an "I'm fine" and hides behind polite smiles. It is the pain of seeing someone you loved become unrecognizable. That person with whom you shared secrets, dreams, fears. The one with whom you laughed until you lost your breath, with whom you cried without needing to explain. Suddenly, they become absent, indifferent, perhaps even cold. And you ask yourself, how is it possible to change so much? But life is made of cycles and people change with them. Some accompany us for a while, teach us something, mark us deeply, and then go their own way. Others hurt us in the middle of the journey and force us to heal while we are still walking. It is natural to try to understand, to seek answers, to question what could have been done differently, but sometimes there is no answer. There is only the fact that the seasons have changed, and with them the winds of coexistence too. However, there is something wonderful amidst this confusion. Jesus does not change. He does not walk away when you cry too much. He does not lose interest when you fail. He does not get tired when you repeat the same mistakes. He does not change his mood, does not vary his opinion, does not disappear without notice. The same Jesus who welcomed the blind man by the roadside, who wept with Lazarus's sisters, who forgave the thief on the cross, is the same one who walks beside you today, even if no one else does. And it is in this unchanging love that we find rest, because knowing that amidst the uncertainties there is someone who never alters is what gives us back peace. It's like being on the high seas and finding a firm rock where you can rest. It doesn't matter if the phone stopped ringing or if that friendship was lost in time. Jesus is still here, with the same tender look, with the same touch that heals, with the same voice that calms storms. If this video is speaking to you, stop for a second and write in the comments, "Jesus is my rock." And if you feel you need that constancy, that presence that does not change, subscribe to the channel now. Here you find words that point to the one who never abandons you, even when everything else changes. Not every change is a loss. Some are doors that open when others close. The pain of an end can be the beginning of something new. Sometimes God allows certain structures to crumble so that we can finally build on the rock. How many times, in the midst of grief, separation, bankruptcy, loneliness, did you feel like you were being destroyed? And how many times, looking back, did you realize that was the exact moment when something new began to be born in you? There are changes that hurt us, but there are also those that shape us. And the curious thing is that we don't always manage to differentiate them at the beginning. What seems like an irreparable loss can be a divine detour that saves us from something worse. What breaks us in half may be preparing us to embrace something greater, but this only becomes clear with time and with faith. God is not afraid to transform. He is the expert in making chaos a stage for miracles. He takes shattered hearts and transforms them into a source of compassion. He takes stories full of shame and converts them into testimonies of grace. He uses change not to confuse us, but to align us with the eternal purpose. So, when everything changes, and it will change, remember, not every change is the end. Sometimes it's just the beginning of something much bigger than you could imagine. God is writing your story with firm hands, even when the page seems confusing. How many times have you just wanted to hear a voice say, "It's going to be okay"? In the midst of the rush, the uncertainties, the fear that gnaws at your chest in the early hours, what the heart most desires is the certainty that there is someone holding the reins of the invisible. And that's where the voice of Jesus stands out. It's not a voice that shouts, that demands, that imposes. It's a gentle, firm, present voice. A voice that cuts through the noise of the world and whispers peace to the internal chaos. Jesus continues to speak. In good days, in bad days, in days when we can't even pray. He speaks through the word, through a song that plays on the radio at the right moment, through a message that appears on your feed as a direct answer to your most secret thought. He speaks when you think you are alone. And what he says never changes. I am with you. I am for you. I do not give up on you. That voice does not go silent when the world goes silent. It does not depend on your performance, nor on your ideal spirituality. Even if you are broken, distant, or discouraged, the voice of Jesus continues to echo with the same love as always, because he does not change. And that is all we need to continue. If there is one thing we can be sure of, it is that the love of Jesus does not change, does not diminish, does not give up. He loved us even before we were aware of it. He chose us when we were still getting lost. And he continues to wait for us even when we walk away. It is a love that is not easily offended, that does not close doors, that does not respond coldly. It is a love that heals without charging, that restores without demanding, that embraces without hesitation. That love is what sustains the world, even if the world does not recognize it. It is what keeps you standing, even when everything around you is falling. It is what calls you by name when you think no one else cares. Jesus remains the same, yesterday, today, and forever. And that is why you can trust. When everything fails, he will be enough. When everyone leaves, he will remain. If this message touched your heart, I invite you now to subscribe to the channel. But more than that, share your story with us. Have you ever experienced a painful change? Have you ever felt the constant presence of Jesus in the midst of a difficult moment? Tell us in the comments what you learned, what you felt, what you carry in your heart today. Here, we are a community of faith, hope, and transformation. And your testimony can be the answer for someone who is praying silently right now. May the unchanging love of Christ continue to sustain you day after day. Kriya Resumo.